that the Lakers now are looking in any way they can to try and move on from Russell Westbrook. What should we be thinking about as far as the possibilities there?
Well, a Russell Westbrook trade, which I think is highly unlikely, that would not include Alec Burks of the Knicks, a Dennis Schroeder of the Celtics. But those are the players that the Lakers have been inquiring about, among many, this week. And those are players that the Lakers have tried to be engaged with in possible deals, but nothing to do with Russell Westbrook. I think right now what the Lakers have to offer, Talen Horton-Tucker, their 21-year-old guard forward, he's been available in trade talks. They're limited because of how their roster is constructed, salary, so many players on veteran minimums, and of course, Russell Westbrook's contract, $47 million player option next year. The Lakers, their focus is really around the edges, and those are the kind of deals they've been talking to teams with and talking about. There is very unlikely dramatic change coming to this Laker team at the deadline. Certainly, you'll explore everything. Crazy things happen, but that Russell Westbrook contract is very, very difficult to move without attaching future draft picks, assets that would potentially really cripple the team for years to come in terms of having any flexibility. And what you'd get back just may not be nearly enough to think it could put you over the top. And so you've got to still, as much as you're trying to win in LeBron's and Anthony Davis's window, you have to be realistic in what's available out there and the price and potential long-term impact of doing win-now deals for an organization even like the Lakers.
I think that's a sobering but very realistic way of looking at it. All right, Woj, the busiest man in the world. We'll check in with you in 15 minutes on NBA Countdown. In the meantime, Stephen A. Smith thinks at this point we are just toying with your emotions.
Woj definitely is. He's laughing at me. Did you see the smirk on his face? He's laughing. Yeah. Now, let me be very, very clear, okay? Russell Westbrook's a future Hall of Famer. Mad respect and love for all that he's accomplished throughout his career. And a lot of times I think he's gotten a raw deal. There's no doubt about it in terms of how people characterize him. But the one thing that is undeniable, especially at this particular moment in time, is what I said weeks ago. The brother can't shoot. And God forgive me for saying this, but we got enough people in the New York Knicks organization that can't shoot. I don't need another person who can't shoot. Now, I know he could play. He'd instantly be the best player on the team, but I need another shooter.
You know what I love about this?
Yes.
The Knicks and the Lakers are just moving chairs around the deck of the Titanic.
Yeah.
They don't matter. Neither team matters. They only matter in New York and L.A. And we're sitting here in L.A. and see Jalen and I in the states that Stephen A. would like to, we're home for the flyover states. We're happy because the Lakers and the Knicks are worthless, Stephen A. It doesn't matter. And the rest of the nation doesn't care.
So, Jalen, you just heard Woj say the overwhelming likelihood is they can't trade Russell Westbrook to anybody. So what do they need to do?
I'll tell you something that the Lakers could do tonight to make the same fans that were booing Russell Westbrook cheer him. Bring him off the bench.
Yes, they should have been doing this. Why didn't they? We're 55 games in. Why haven't they tried that?
And the psychology of that for him playing against second-line players gives him a chance to be the primary ball handler. You build his confidence back up, and then maybe he can actually finish games.
All right, let's see what they can do. We'll try and get Stephen A. back with us. Countdown's coming your way in 13 minutes.
The NBA, the roster is not working. That was the buzz around the Lakers after last night's troubling loss to Giannis and the Bucks. With the trade deadline less than 24 hours away, LA facing some serious questions about retooling LeBron after last night's L.
Yeah, tell us we ain't on their level. I mean, I'd have told you that before the game started.
Do you think you can reach that level?
Where they are right now? I don't know. Do I think we can reach the level where Milwaukee is right now? No. Is that what you want to hear from me? No.
NBA reporter Dave McMenamin covering the Lakers and joins us now. And sources have told you that the Lakers believe their roster is not working and that something must be done. What can they do before tomorrow's trade deadline to try to shake up the roster?
Kevin, they're in a tough spot. As you look at their roster makeup, they have the big three, all of them making around $40 million apiece between LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. Then they have a bunch of veteran minimum players, so that can only get you a veteran minimum back. And then they have two bigger contracts to work with in Talen Horton-Tucker, who's been the underwhelming third-year guard on a 3-year, $30 million contract. And then Kendrick Nunn, who they got for the Miami Heat on what was seen as a bargain contract, 2 years, around $10 million total in the mid-level exception. But he hasn't played a game all season long because of a knee injury. Those are the pieces they're trying to put out there. Now, my reporting last night was that they got to do something with the roster. I had a team source tell me today specifically what he would like to see done with the roster: trade Russell Westbrook. He told me we got to rip the Band-Aid off to be able to move forward this season.
Wow. And you would be talking about the 4 straight years, 4 different teams for the second straight game. Westbrook was benched in the fourth quarter by head coach Frank Vogel. Here he is when asked about it afterwards.
I put a lot of work in. I got a lot of respect in this game. I don't have to hit a benchmark. I shouldn't have to. I earned the right, to be in closing lineups. Numbers will tell you. I don't have to explain that. But like I said, once again, that ain't my decision. That's his decision that he and the staff think is best for the game. And unfortunately, just got to go with it.
All right, Dave, both Westbrook and LeBron James listed as questionable for tonight's game in Portland. What's the latest with both of them, starting with LeBron?
Well, LeBron just recently missed those 5 games straight with the swelling and soreness in his left knee. For him to come back and play a back-to-back in this scenario wouldn't necessarily be prudent. I'm told he's going to work out before the game, see how he feels, and make a decision from there. I think the more interesting status is Russell Westbrook, who is questionable with lower back tightness. Keep in mind, Russell Westbrook, for all of his faults this season, he has played in all 55 games for the Lakers. And so if he was not to play tonight, that could be an indication that they're purposely holding him out in order to work on a trade. You see that often in this league. When a guy's about to be traded, they don't want to play him in a game and risk an injury that could occur in that game that could nullify any deal that's in the works. So that's something also to keep an eye on tonight as we get to the Moda Center to see the showdown between the Lakers and Blazers.
Okay, and Westbrook, if he's a no-go, keep this in mind. The Lakers with 27 different starting lineups so far this season, nearly half of their games, which is at 55.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. And I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can see Greeny, Stephen A., Jalen, me, duke it out at Countdown, 7 Eastern. Maybe you feel like on that late game, too. And now, here's SportsCenter.
50 degrees today in Washington. I should have gotten the sticks. I should have gone and hit it.
Can't believe you didn't.
This is SportsCenter with Elle Duncan and Kevin Nagandi.
That's right. We are mid-Super Bowl week. Okay, so we've got you covered from L.A. this hour. Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford both speaking. Plus, Dan Orlovsky and Mina Kimes will break down key matchups from Disneyland.
Also, what exactly is going on with the Lakers? It's not been a fun ride. And how can they shake things up before tomorrow's trade deadline? That leads tonight's headlines here on Wednesday. A source telling Dave McMenamin the Lakers realize their roster isn't working and they need to make changes. This comes after a blowout loss to the Bucks in which Russell Westbrook was benched again. Dave McMenamin will join us live in minutes. The Blazers making more changes, according to Tim McMahon, acquiring injured forward Joe Ingles and his hours away. LA facing some serious questions about retooling LeBron after last night's L.
Yeah, tell us we ain't on their level. I mean, I'd have told you that before the game started.
Do you think you can reach that level?
Where they are right now? I don't know. Do I think we can reach the level where Milwaukee is right now? No. Is that what you want to hear from me? No.
NBA reporter Dave McMenamin covering